Hello, welcome. Today we're going to discuss what do buyer's agents do, and then you can see for yourself whether you think you need them. I've had a series going on for a few days now where I talk about, I really realize what I'm doing is I'm talking about the inefficiencies in the market and how you can take advantage of them, use them to your own advantage. But there are some benefits a buyer's agents can do. So I figured I'd type it into Zillow. I mean, I know what they are. I've been a real estate agent for over 12, 15 years. I've worked as a buyer's agent. I've sold over 150 houses as a listing agent. I know the good ones. I know the not so good ones. And I know when they can help you. And I'm going to help you with that. But first, here, maximum exposure real estate. This guy on certain segments, I remember him from Active Rain over a decade ago, putting out good content there. And I guess Google has seen him put out. This guy's a good content marketer. He sometimes beats out the major search engines, so good for him. He's the first, maybe because I've clicked on him before, but when I typed in what do buyer's agents do, he came up first. So here we go. They get you pre-approved. Well, a tip for that would be reverse the process. Talk to some escrow companies. Ask them who they recommend. Who are the buyer's agents that close? And I'm telling you, the escrow people I know, some of them do it so much they love the business. They also know who are giving the best rates. I would take the advice from one or two escrow people in your town. Say, hey, look, I'm going to buy a house. I'm going to try to pick you. I know it's negotiable, but I'm going to try to keep you there. Do you think you can help me with this process? Okay, so bypass the buyer's agents, right? Like that. That's the best advice I know. I have a story about when I learned it. I don't have the time for the stories to tell you, but let me just say, I enjoy the story anyway. All right, they help you find a home, include counseling, location, neighborhood, schools, etc. Now, there are people involved in, let's say it's relo, and you don't have a lot of time, and you want to find the house with the good schools. Even within like a micro move, you might want to say, where are the best elementary schools? Where can I walking distance to some of the best schools? Are there any houses that can get me to the elementary school or middle school, walking distance, middle school and the high school? There are things like that there may be agents who live in the area and do a lot of sales just in that micro area where working with a buyer's agent can be a good thing on this. I also think if you're looking to buy a solar home, as I've got videos on this where you can save 5 or 10%, because you might save $4, $5, $6, $7, $800 a month in electricity in Southern California, and that translates to $50 to like $150,000 in mortgage power. So that's five. If you're a mortgage person or you understand the time value of money, that's a 5%, 10% discount. I'm telling you, most selling, just from my experience, listing agents, neither listing agents nor buyer's agents are frequently qualified to counsel you on that. So you may want to work with a buyer's agent on that, or you may want to learn more from me. I have a course on that that's available to people, available to buyers. But with respect to finding a home, if you're like my wife, and I know all the people I've worked with years, they go on the internet, they find it, they research. They start knowing, even when you're doing homes, the buyers frequently know what's available in their price range. They start stacking the homes and they know the value. Now, they might not know past prices as well until recently. Now that even that's on the net. But they used to know out of the houses that are available, this is how they stack. This is the value. Now I'd like to try to get this home at a lower price than that house that I consider superior, or vice versa. The superior house or lower price than this current house, then they're happy. Doesn't always happen when there's multiple offers in this market, but they know how to stack it. So I don't know that too many buyer's agents, especially the ones that are on big teams that take in leads from Zillow, they pay for Zillow leads, they pay for net leads, they try to sell all over the area. So, many times you're going to be far more aware of what you want than the buyer's agent. You're doing the research. If you don't, if you're coming in just for a weekend and you've got to rely, then I'd say find a buyer's agent for each area. And I've got the best ways to do that as well. Don't just be a lead on the internet. That's not the way you want to get it done. If you're going to go through a reload service, make them give you the bona fide. Just make them prove that this agent's bought 4 or 5 homes for people in this area, 4 or 5 homes in this area. Don't make the mistake I once made, where I found a great agent for one area, and then we decided we didn't like that area because we needed better schools. She brought us over another area, and we missed the right schools in the right area by a mile. I mean, literally about a mile, and consequently it's a long story. It wasn't a great ending. Now, picking a home inspector, can be useful, no doubt about it. You can also find home inspectors on the net. Now, the net's a great way. You will find it interesting. The home inspectors that seem to have good reviews, in at least in big areas where I look sometimes for people, they tend to charge more money. Um, but a good home inspection um, is important. But I would break it down like this. Most home inspectors have check boxes. Say, I'd like to see your list. I'd like to see what a report looks like. Let them scratch out the name. See if that report looks good to you for the money. I should have a whole video on this, I realize now. 2, I don't think you should have a home inspection. If you're getting a house with a pool, have a separate pool guy. Call up pool renovation companies. I've got a pool guy in San Diego. He fixed our backyard. He said anytime I need him to go out, he's happy to help people inspect pools, especially the older ones when they get more than 5 or 7 years old. I learned all about when I was getting my whole back. We bought a house and the pool needed renovation. We renovated the whole backyard. I learned about what it means when the coping's separating and all these things. Pump inspection, huge, because that's going to cost you money if they're 10 years old. So that's why the top pool renovation companies, many of them will go out to a property, and if they don't, you say, hey, look, if I buy this house, I'm going to need to renovate it. But I realize I might not be buying the house, but could you do an inspection of the following things for a few $100s or whatever the guy wants to charge? Definitely do that over the vast majority of these home inspectors that really don't know what they're talking about. Same thing with roofs on older houses. The home inspector guys, in general, now, I know the ones in my area, but that doesn't do you good anywhere in the net. You're going to want to go to the home inspection guys that have some experience in the industry. You're going to want to attend the home inspection. I don't really see that as an issue with the transaction, but just be prepared to schedule that. Because they have a lot. As they go through the house, they like to show you how good they are, and they tell you some great stuff. At least most of them do. Now, negotiating home inspection repair requests. This, in and of itself, is an entire topic. It's a great topic. You have to judge the market, right? And this is what we would have training on if you were working with me directly or in the courses that I'm now preparing for people. If it is truly a seller's market and there may be multiple offers, you're going to have to find a way to protect yourself in the contracts, but still make clean offers, or maybe you don't even have a home inspection request, but you still set up home inspections. You're going to have to review the stuff. You're going to have to probably let the ticky-tack stuff go by. If it's very important, if it's a safety issue, that the seller's probably going to have to do it anyway. If it's a material defect, you're going to probably be able to negotiate that because they're going to have to disclose it to the next buyer. If it's things that are wear and tear, you're going to have to probably give up on that. Bracing for a water heater, they've got to do that. But sometimes in a seller's market, you're going to, after you get the review, you're going to have to decide, do I push the seller? You can always push the seller, but the seller could say no, then you have to decide what do you want to do. So, if your requests are reasonable, like when I was buying my home, it was a seller's market. I competed against multiple offers. My guy found, he told me the roof had 2 or 3 years on it. He was right. My pool was a mess. He was right. My pool pump would last for a while. He was wrong. I don't even know. Maybe he was right. That's not the point. The point was I knew there were issues all over the house. But I said, hey, look, there's issues all over the house. You guys did a great job putting lipstick on the pig, but this house needs work. It's old, and you guys put in paint and carpet, but everything else is a mess. Just so I'm happy with the deal, and I don't come back and bug you later because I know you probably didn't even disclose everything because you're a trustee. How about just giving me X amount of dollars off? And they didn't even counter me. They knew I was right. Boom, they gave me a few $1,000s. I knew the deal I was getting. I knew I'd have to put work into the house. It was all right. Now, I could have played tough lawyer. I could have played tough buyer, and they could have said, sorry, and now just close. And I would have had to, and I would have closed anyway. And I think they knew it, and I knew it. So I was happy that we worked out something. You've got to make those choices, but I think you can do it. Now, communicate with seller's agent and buyer's attorney throughout the sale. I think this guy's in Massachusetts, or he was 10 or 15 years ago. Buyer's attorneys are not, I am an attorney, by the way, and a real estate broker. Buyer's attorneys aren't that frequent, other than when people call me up and say, I'm buying directly from the seller. What can we do? Then I've got flat fee courses. I used to do it by the hour. It was not good for the buyer. It wasn't good for the seller. It made a mess because sometimes they'd ask me to do 45 hours worth of work. The buyer didn't want to pay me another $300-$400. So they did it. They didn't do it in time. Everyone got unhappy. So I have a flat fee program for that. I don't even have a course on that. So, that's just something that happens. Monitor your loan commitment. Now, this is what every seller's agent should sort of negotiate with the buyer for in a seller's market. You want to be on top of it. You want to have a direct line to that lender. This is what a buyer, if they want to show that in a multiple offer situation that they're serious about buying the home and want to work with the seller to get this job done, they work on that. They give that up, in my opinion. That's how you show you know what you're doing. Hey, I've looked at 2 or 3 buyers. These are the ones who closed. I've gotten recommendations from escrow. I also went online. I have some favorites online, but it will change over time, so I'm not going to give the names. The online people can frequently beat the local guy who's also, he's got to mark it up a little bit for his fees, but maybe he's with a company that's known for closing on time. You weigh that out. I think you get the idea. We have training on that if you're interested. Now, finalize all loose ends for the closing. That's a little bit of work. That is, a transaction coordinator in California, because we have so many documents. They like to get paid $400. Well, I think if you do a lot of volume, you get them down to $400, but $350 to $550 for that work. If they're working with both sides, they're usually about $500 or more for the good ones with experience. And they have checklists, which I provide in our course. They have, there's now excellent software. Like, the reason why I'd be willing to do this for people now, myself, and I've done my last few closings myself, is because, let me just tell you about this process. In the past, every time you had a document, and you were using those electronic signature services, or something changed, you had to send them out for signatures again. It was a whole, and then the lenders would want everybody's signature on the same document instead of letting it be signed in duplicate or triplicate. How lawyers are saying, hey, we have 4 contracts, they're all equal, and we can get them all signed up, and that's a deal. That would be a deal in real estate. But lenders don't like variables, and so they want everyone signing everything at once, generally, in my experience. That was such a pain in the neck. That was 5 to 10 hours of work. There's software now that eliminates that, but it's still work. You still want to review the disclosures as a buyer, and you still want to comply to get the deal done with the lenders' frequently non-germane things, but I think it's to buy themselves time. I think they make up stuff. We need this because they still need 3 or 4 days of approval. So they're just like, oh crud, we got to start over this week. Let's put a wrench in this and ask for something stupid. But you got to do it, right? Well, not always, because sometimes I do get hired to make them close because what they're doing is unreasonable. It's not within the course of the agreement you signed up when you got a loan. And I'm like, stop messing around, close this thing. But that's for another day. So if those things, so my summary of this is everything can be done with a little bit of training and software now, other than the experience items or the coming up to speed. So for the buyer, this is really the most important stuff, and then the inspection, right? Everything else can be coordinated. The transaction management can be done with software. It's a lawyer's job, but it's not, unless issues come up, it's not hard. So realtors do it. Negotiating the offer, maybe. Look, if it's a multiple offer situation, you're trying to make your offer look strong. If it's a weaker market, then you negotiate. You have different plans. Maybe you start off, you don't go low, but maybe you start off a little bit below and hope to get in the middle. None of this is rocket science. I think any business people who want to deal with the listing agent directly can completely bypass a buyer's agent. Now, you don't always have to do it, but I'm just saying that if you look at these things, I think I'm already spending more time on this than I wanted. So here's maximum exposure real estate. I talked about the 9 things with you. Let me just pull up, I'm gonna do, let me go back to my search on Google, and there was a Forbes article I read a while ago. Let's see. Oh, what do buyer's agents do? This, if I recall, there was a slightly different take on this. This was from 2013. But be an advisor and advocate during the home buying process. Take time to uncover, this is important, take time to uncover the buyer's needs and make sure you align those needs with what you're looking for to buy a home. Research homes and sort through active listings. Now you can even get old pricing data and you get intro on the schools. I have intro on the schools on my website. I wasn't even charged a premium. So there's now school data out there that goes on websites. It's not expensive and it's very good up until maybe it works in my neighborhood, my areas, because it's rated by the people who go there and they put up a lot of stars. And I found the stars to be working in Carlsbad, in Poway, in Rancho Bernardo, in the areas I know. The lifestyle, that's helped you. You're going to do that these days. Aid buyers in narrowing their search. Yeah. Handle the ins and outs of negotiation, including preparation of all necessary forms. Easily outsource to transaction negotiators. Counsel buyers on how to handle any repairs as needed on the property. Yeah. Good one. We discussed that. Be present at closing to ensure that the buyers are interested. Well, in California, we don't have a closing day. We have a closing time, and escrow puts everything together. So you might need some counseling on how to work with escrow, but there is not even a closing table. So that is what a buyer agent does. And if you are thinking, hey, I can do all that, or I do all that, I don't need a buyer's agent for that, and you'd like to save the buyer's agent's fees, which are frequently 2.5 to 3%, I've got training on that, or an opportunity, depending on, if you go right now to winnerscheck.net buyer, you're going to see an opportunity to set up a listing consult with me. But I've created it. That's my done for you. I've now spent the weekend gathering in my materials from courses I made in the past, and I'm going to have a done with you thing where you can, I train you on how to use Zillow or Realtor.com or any of these other websites to make sure you know what everything is on the market, or just about everything. There's going to be a few for sale by owners that may escape. I'm going to help you, if you're going to do with a for sale by owner, that's going to be an extra part of the program that's not fully complete. That's going to be subject to a lot of live training. The rest of the things, though, we will have, I'll have live trainings, just maybe not as extensive in a question and answer session, but I have all this laid out start to finish, including every section of the California Residential Purchase and Sale Agreement in the course. So I'm going to have a done with you program where I help you leverage all the materials in there and get and really garner. If you go directly to a buyer's agent, you can probably get 1.5. Well, let's say the fee is 3%. You, on a referral, we can probably get 50% in most areas if we position you as a buyer who knows what they're doing. You're ready to go. If you're a buyer with help, maybe we can ask for a 30% referral fee. So, like, just rough numbers on a $1 million home, the buyer's agent might get $25,000 to $30,000. I would say you could probably easily, just not easily, it's standard in the industry. You could get a third of that, 30% of that completely from almost any buyer's agent if there's homes to buy in the area. I mean, some of the agents say, well, I can't even buy them a home, so forget it. So if you're looking at a $5,000 or $6,000 home where there's 10 multiple offers coming in, you're going to have to settle for a smaller referral fee. But, we can easily refer your property out. And then in the program, I talk about how I can share that buyer's fee with you. I've referred out listings for years and years and years and years and years. I've done it dozens of times. And now with my Done With You course, instead of my Done For You course, I'm going to share that referral fee with you. So that's at winnerscheck.com. And, that's our training for today. So winnerscheck.com. My name is John McConnin. I'm a real estate attorney and a broker. I'm in San Diego. I've referred properties out all over the country. If you stay in California, I can also help you as your attorney or a realtor. Outside, I can be a referring realtor. That's just how it works. Thanks, John McConnin. Talk to you later. Bye.